Hello and welcome to this month's IAMPRO podcast Q&A. My name is Charlie Brooks and today I am talking to actor Liam Fox. He rise to fame playing Dan Spencer in Emmerdale, starting off with 8 episodes, so I hear. The producers decided to write him in permanently. He's appeared in several other TV shows and is currently on the road with yours truly doing a fantastic granddad in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Liam, otherwise known as Foxy, welcome to IAMPRO. Hello.
Well, thank you for having me, Charlie Brooks. Fabulous.
Finally got you on the pod.
Indeed, yeah. We're looking forward to it. All good.
What, Liam, is the thing about acting that you love the most?
I can't do anything else. Really. I was that chubby, nervous kid at school who was shy. Still a bit shy now, really, even though I'm 54 when I need to be. I think all actors are. And it was the thing that stopped me being bullied at school and made me sort of popular with the bullies all of a sudden. It was a way to be myself and find myself, I think, So acting is just very much part of who I am.
How has it helped you find yourself?
Just more confidence, really. I think, when you're younger and you try to find yourself, you can kind of hide behind characters, sort of thing. Once you get to my age, you do get confidence in yourself. You're older, you don't care as much what people think about you and everything. But it helped me to find myself, really, and to, just act my way out of circumstances, acting everyday life. It's kind of weird. I just think a lot of us people think you should be, you must be so confident if you're an actor. Yeah, it's usually the exact opposite of confidence actors have. We initially become actors to be somebody else. And, I think we're initially quite shy and reserved, and yet we go through these lives being rejected every week for jobs, It's insane, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I can totally relate to everything that you're saying. It's amazing, actually, how you can apply it to your everyday life. And I always say it helps you to have difficult conversations because of the trust you have to learn to have in yourself, I think, as an actor.
Yeah, you've got to know yourself. And I think, for me, it makes you quite instinctive about other people and personalities. You start to know who you're going to get on with quite well, or who you're not going to get on with, because you become a people watcher, So there's only so many personality types, and you know who those people are, and you connect straight away with them, or you don't. And it's really interesting. We could do a thesis on this, couldn't we? Really.
How do you feel when you realise you don't connect as well with some people? How do you manage that?
Yeah, it's all right if you don't connect, just not connect. Well, that's all right because you can't be mates with everybody. It's just a bit weird to try and be. And I think when we're younger, we try to be mates with everybody, and then you have all these fake friendships. So I always feel a bit concerned by people who've got loads and loads of mates because you kind of think, nah, it's impossible, really. If you're true to yourself, you have a limited amount of friends, really, because you know who you trust. But then every now and again, somebody comes into your life who you instinctively know, oh my God, we don't connect, and this could be awful. And I kind of have to move away from them people. They're rare. I've only had one or two in my life, but not good.
It's weird, isn't it, when it happens?
Yeah. And I think that's acting. I don't think maybe I'm psychic as well. I don't know. But I think the acting process is to do that. It's understanding personality types. And it sort of bleeds into your everyday life.
And you said that at 54, you don't care as much what people think anymore. Is that completely true? And if so, how do you get to that point, do you think? What's changed?
Not 100%, no. Every now and again, you find yourself thinking, why do I care? Why just forget it and get on with your life, But I certainly care a lot less than I used to do. It's just ages, isn't it? It's that understanding that you can't please everybody all the time. You can't, and it's been... I'm kind of jealous of people who can be so sure of themselves, they have an opinion on everything, and they stick to it. Because I still sometimes will say something and then, oh yeah, agree with somebody when I don't agree at all. So it's kind of, drive myself mad with it.
I know.
I slap myself when I do it. So just be honest,
It's a constant work in progress, that though.
I think all actors, we're all works in progress, aren't we, really? We're never happy.
Mm.
So it's all about the phone call. I've got the job. I've got the job. And after week rehearsals, when does it end?
It's so
Bizarre.
true. We want to be wherever we're
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Um, and talking about rejection, because often we don't get the job, you know, I don't think people have lived a full actor's life if they've just gone constantly from job to job to job to job. You know, it's like it doesn't happen all of the time. How do you cope with that?
Um, I've been really lucky. Before I did Emmerdale, obviously I went through a lot of period of rejection. They've had 12 years of work. And then since I've left, I kind of got 50% of the stuff gone for because it's only been a year.
Mm.
But Bryan Cranston said something about auditioning and just said to use it as part of your job. Go in there, learn the lines, and just do the best that you can because the people in that room want you to be good. And that's great. And that's the thing we've lost a bit with self-tapes, the fact that you're not getting a chance to go in the room as much as you used to do. Because actually, you know, acting can be quite a solitary life outside of your family, you know, just doing bits here and there. And you want to go and meet new people or go out for a chat and treat it like a chat and part of your job. And if you get the job, you get the job. My wife did a couple of auditions in the last couple of weeks, which were brilliant, but she didn't get the job. And she's got to a stage now where she's all right with that, you know. It's
Mm.
just do a great audition. And I think you can't, because of self-tapes, you can't really know what the director wants apart from the notes you get from your agent. So you just have to trust your choices, and if the choices are right, they're right, and if they're not, they're not. So that's
Mm.
where I play it, I think.
I find that really challenging, actually, and a real loss that we can't be in a room and directed, and you know, so because you do have to trust in your own choices, and they're not always going to be right, and you don't
No,
get the
yeah,
opportunity to say, well, how do you see it? Let's work on that, you know.
yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of the job used to be that, didn't it? It used to be they know that you can be directed, so therefore that's a good chance you might get the job. Or things like when I
Yeah,
got Dinner Ladies, which always sticks out in my head. Victoria Wood thought I was the photocopy repairman when she came into the office. Didn't think I was the actor, and we ended up having a laugh about that and a load of nonsense before we read the script. So I knew I'd got the job before we read the script because we just connected. Some people don't
yeah.
get to do that, do we? So, Jane,
What was your experience like working with Victoria Wood on that?
great, really quiet woman, quiet, shy
Really?
woman. Yeah, yeah, all about the work, but lovely.
Mm.
You know. Well, then you get that with comics, don't you? You know that high intelligence kind of every beat needs to be perfect, and within that, you often get quite shy people, really perfectionists.
Mm.
But very kind lady. Yeah, great loss.
Did you learn anything from her? And what did you learn from working with her, would you say?
I learned to trust myself on that actually because we'd been rehearsing for 4 days, and she'd not said anything to me about my performance. I was thinking, bloody hell. So I went, Vic, just ask you something. She went, yeah, what? Someone said, is everything I'm doing all right? She went, yeah, I love it. It's great. I went, okay. That's that's the only direction I got
Wow.
in all the time, apart from where to move. So,
Mm.
you know, fair enough. Maybe that's because she gets the casting right from day one, because, we're surrounded by amazing people on that as well. So, yeah,
Yeah.
genius.
Difficult that because we do need, not all actors, some, on some jobs, I need the reassurance that I'm doing it right. And then it's like, I don't want to fall into the needy actress zone where I'm not trusting myself,
Yeah.
you know. But I'm definitely, I think, guilty of falling into that sometimes.
I think, well, for both of us doing a show like Chitty,
Yeah,
musical,
yeah,
like, for me, I'm like going, oh, I'm not trained in musical theatre. I went to Salford Uni, the School of Hard Knocks. We were filmmakers and screen actors and everything. And I only sang on stage at last Christmas in a panto for the first time. And suddenly
yeah,
I'm doing a musical. So I feel confident in it now. But at first it was kind of, oh my God, what am I doing here? Because the talent, as you
yeah,
know,
same.
we've got on that particular show is phenomenal. So in this
Yeah.
show, I've needed that a bit actually. Oh, that was good, or because you actually think, what, I'm
Yeah.
an imposter, you know?
I think when something is so unfamiliar,
Yeah,
it's it requires you to be very brave, which I think all of us are. And
yeah.
B, I definitely needed someone to go, you're on the right track, or, something like that. But
So
um
it's so
I,
tough.
it is tough. And again, it just comes down because there are so many other areas that I completely trust myself in, and I'm
Mm,
free to feel it. And then I go through really sticky times, and whether that's because you've got something going on personally and you're just not quite, you don't, feel at full capacity.
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's that I had less nerves doing the Emmerdale live 10 years ago, in which I had a massive part. It was live on a Thursday night in October on location, you know, and it went perfectly. And I'm thinking, but I wasn't really nervous. I look back and think, why was I not nervous? For some
Mm,
reason, I think because I'd just come into the show, I didn't feel like I had anything to lose. There was probably something like that. I don't know. But I was
mm.
much less nervous about that in front of what 12 million people watched that night, compared to
Wow.
doing a theatre show. But again, it's because the theatre show, the musical stuff is a new genre. So for me, but it's
Yeah.
great to be scared, isn't it? As well.
It is great to be scared, although the nervous system is sort of reaching the end of its tether, I think.
Yeah, it has its limit.
So you spoke there about your university experience. You didn't go to drama school, is that right? Or you
Yeah, it was
did go to
uni.
drama school?
It was a degree in media and performance. So we did theatre work, but it was mainly screen. So screen acting, TV and film, obviously, and then we did script writing and producing and presenting. Um, Loads of different angles, really. So people went off into different directions. So Peter Kay was on the year below I was. Obviously, Peter became Peter. Um, One of the lads has become a director. He directs loads of TV and film. One of the lads is the head of Channel 5. Greg, he's one of the bosses there.
Yeah.
Um, because of the nature of the course, people went off in completely different directions. Warren Brown, who was in Luther and done loads of things. Sophie Di Martino was in Loki on Marvel. So some people have gone off and are really good acting careers, and some have gone off and been producers or presenters.
Yeah.
OJ Borg on Radio 2, he was one of ours from Salford as well. So really kind of
I love,
creative university.
yeah.
OJ's great.
So I know that you are dabbling in some writing, and
Yeah.
I have the script with me.
You have the
How is
scripts.
that process? What?
You have the scripts. Come on.
I have the scripts to glance my eyes over.
Mm.
How is the writing process for you? And yeah, talk me through about how this project came about.
I've written a few. I did a master's degree in script writing 20 years ago, and when I first wrote, I used to feel like I had to write with a writing partner all the time. And I had a great writing partner, Phil, and we won a comedy award for the best pilot sitcom that we did. Um, and then we had a meeting with Cosgrove Hall, the animation company, about a kids animated show, which they wanted to make straight away, which was weird. And then ITV owned Cosgrove Hall, so it didn't happen. They pulled up, the company closed, and so that was a bit of a nightmare. But as time has gone on, I've got more faith in me writing on my own, really. So this particular script I've written is based on my dad's life in Ireland in the 1950s onwards, which is quite dark at times and humorous and generally true. And for me, I love the works of Martin McDonagh. So anything like In Bruges or Banshees of Inisherin, all that sort of stuff, I kind of aspire to be as good as he is, and that's my thing. I like dark humour and writing and rewriting. The script's never perfect until you make it. So I've done so many versions of this script. I've done a feature film, I've done a TV version. But I'll know until there's money for it and it gets made, the script will continually develop. It's never perfect. Any film or TV project you watch could probably have had another draft.
Where do you start with? So you've got the idea. How
Yeah.
do you start? Do you have the characters in mind? I know that this is a lot based on your own experience and life.
With this, I did. The animated feature that we wrote was weird because that came from a project at uni, and we were given the project was character A returns home to take revenge on character B, write a project. So it's like, right, okay. So everyone wrote stuff about gangsters and all this sorts of business, and it was, so. And I thought, right, I try to think outside of the box a little bit. So I did a mouse who returned back to the sewers to take revenge on this guy called Reggie Rat, who double crossed him back in the day because he'd been dealing sugar behind his back. So the sugar was like cocaine of the sewers. So that was the project that got us into Cosgrove Hall. So I think always think outside the box, and then probably base characters on people that I know. I think even the rat and the mouse were based on characters that I knew. You know, the basis of who they were.
And do you write to put yourself in the project?
No, definitely not. If there's a part for me in it, then I'll be in it. But I definitely don't write it for me because I just think that works for some people, but then I think that becomes all about me, and I'd rather it was about the project. I think it's more important to have a great project because, quite honestly, I think if the project gets made without me, it means I can sit at home in bed while someone else is making it, so I'm not that bothered. I'm getting lazy. Yeah.
And do you have a certain, like, because it's quite a disciplined act, isn't it? Like, do you have a certain routine to the writing? Like, right, I'm going to sit down and write 10 pages of this script today. Or
When I'm in the zone, yeah, I can go 6 months and write nothing. I have to be inspired. And if I'm not inspired, I can't write. It's like, I've thought about going writing for certain TV shows, maybe writing for the soaps or whatever. Now I'm not in them or whatever. But I don't think I'd be inspired. I think I'd be just painting by numbers. And I don't think that's what I want to do. If I was 20, then I'd probably go and do it. But at my age, I'm thinking, I want to do stuff I want to do. You can get a nice paycheck, obviously. And in 6 months' time, if I need a paycheck, I'll bloody do it. But I think you've got to be inspired. I saw something again by somebody the other day. I think it was Steve Pemberton. No, it wasn't. It was Josh Widdicombe. There's been a lot of things online this week about people who graduate and how to be successful, etc. And I think it's trying to keep some childish enthusiasm about life.
yeah,
Because otherwise it just goes to pot. You've got to be excited about what you're doing. And if you're not going to do something else, really. It's easy to say that if you've got a wife and 2 kids and a mortgage to pay, isn't it? But try and keep some enthusiasm about what you do.
Yeah. I mean, like you, I probably couldn't do anything else either.
That's it, isn't it? It's what we do.
So I was going to ask about Emmerdale and a process. Do you have a process and the way you approach a character or a scene or a self-tape? Is there something particular that you do? Maybe when you receive a script for the first time?
So it's instinct, really. I think with Dan, and I knew when I got the audition for Dan that I could be in the show for years just by reading the script. I thought, if I go against the dialogue a little bit, because he was quite a dark character, really, because he came in to show why his wife had left him. So it was somebody who just wasn't going to be in the show. But I thought if I can put some humour into these lines, you could see why she left him, but you could also see why she was in love with him and why he was a bit an idiot, So that was the process, and then it just became. I just added colour to that over the years, and by the time I left, the colour had probably gone. To be honest with you, characters come and go, don't they? He could go back one day and he might get the colour back, but and then again, base it on people that I know. When I did Derwent in Dinner Ladies with Victoria Wood again, going back to that, I've just based it on my mate at school. It was a bit daft. It was a bit like, all right, mate, how you doing? Oh, we're going dancing. Yeah. So I just played that. So pretty much every time I do something, there's somebody I know or somebody I've seen or, I think it's probably quite good to get on a bus every now and again and watch people, just... Yeah, because obviously the Stanislavski, there's a million and one acting techniques, method or whatever. But I always think my personal opinion is that it doesn't matter what role you're doing or how much you can say that I was deeply in that character. For me, you're always aware of what's going on around you. You've got to be that. Some people might be able to switch into this other personality and forget there's a camera in the corner, but I think if you're in the middle of a great scene with somebody, you're working against a fantastic actor and you're really in it, you can switch that off. But I think
Mm,
90% of the time, especially when you work on a show that you're shooting every week, you're well aware the camera's there. You're well aware that the boom operator's just had a baby the day before, or or the makeup artist start feeling so good. You know what's going on around you. So
yeah.
there's a million and one ways of doing it, isn't there? And everyone just finds their own way to make it truthful.
So you've never had a pop at the method way?
No. Well,
No.
I don't. Some probably elements of it, you know. But I won't go and lock myself away for a month and everything else, and I'd get
Mm,
bored. I just
mm.
even a lot of
Um,
the top actors in the States have moved away from that a bit now, haven't they? It's everything goes through fashion. They were talking with oh my God, I can't think of his name now. British actor, anyway. His name will come to a minute. And they were interviewing him for the film, The Bike Riders. Tom Hardy, and
somebody.
they said to him, "Oh yeah, so you're a method actor?" And he goes, "No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not a method actor." But you are. He says, "I'm not a method actor." You have this argument with an interview about him not being a method actor. He said, "I just do it my own way." You know,
Mm,
there's nothing wrong with people who are method actors. Just is what it is.
mm. You said about your Emmerdale character, Dan, that you feel the colour was lost.
Yeah.
Is that because you lacked enthusiasm for it after a certain amount of time doing it? Or is that because of the writing? I mean, we probably wouldn't want to say that on a public podcast. Like, what do you think contributes to that? And how do you keep the colour in something? Because you were there for a long time.
Yeah, 12 years. I don't. These shows go through certain phases, and I think we've gone through a phase in the last few years where humour's been lost. Things have become quite dramatic, and
Agree.
the space for a character like Dan's not really there anymore. And whether that's about me or anybody else, I think that's a massive mistake by
Mm,
shows to lose humour because they're not. We shouldn't try and compete with the big dramas because we don't have the budgets.
mm.
So you need to keep an element of that. I could say more, but I think generally after so many years in a show, whether Dan ever came back or didn't, it was probably time to get out for a bit. I think that
Yeah.
it was their decision in the end for me to go to prison at that time. But I genuinely wanted to go at that point. I wanted to go a few years before, but I definitely wanted to go by then, and it was really kind of lovely, actually, the way I left with everybody concerned. The door is very much open, but we'll see. We'll see.
And with regards to going from that, a soap for that many years, which is a really long time to do a constant stint, I think the longest I did was 5 years,
Yeah.
to treading the boards in something like Chitty, which is couldn't be more different. How are
Oh
you
yeah.
finding it and the different type of discipline and being on the road and what are the good bits and bad bits for you, Liam?
The best bit's the show and the
Yeah,
people
yeah.
because it's a great show, isn't it? It's fantastic to be honest. It's fantastic to get we get standing ovations every show. I mean, you go in really every show. Oh, and
It's
we're
amazing.
all getting great reviews every day. I must have a bad one somewhere. One of us must have a bad review, but I've not seen them. Um, it's yeah, it's a great. I think we're all very. I won't say we're lucky because we're good at what we do, but we're blessed to be in a show like this. And it is. I kind of have to pinch myself to think you come straight out of 12 years in a soap to do something like this. Like, wow. But the hard bit for me is being away from home. I don't think I could do 12-month tours every year. I think it should be part of maybe a pattern of what you do. You maybe do it if you could do a 12-month tour, have a couple of months out, do a little telly job obviously you take what you take in this business. You don't get. We're not that lucky, but um, my hats off to anybody who can tour year after year after year because
Mm.
it's hard. It's hard not being at home, and That's the hardest bit. But as for the show itself and everything else, there's nothing not to love about that.
And what about doing the same thing night after night? Because that'll be a first for you. Because even though you're in the same show, you're constantly working on different storylines and different scenes. Is there something that you do to keep it fresh? Is there something, do you find it a bit monotonous? And is there what ways do you have of injecting sort of new life? Whether it's just something fun for you to do secretly on stage, or do you have any thoughts around that?
Yeah, trying, especially with the songs, trying to think of a slightly different way of doing the song, or try to just change little bits here and there to keep it a little bit fresh without putting off the other actors who are with you, because obviously you can't do something that might lose their thread. I think
Yeah,
there's some actors over the years that do that and don't care. Thankfully, I don't think there's many about anymore. Um,
yeah,
and I always think the most important thing is that you've got 2 or 3 thousand people in the audience every night, and for them, it's the first time they've seen that show, and they're all paying the same amount of money to come and see that show, and so you cannot, even if you are having a bad day or you're a bit bored of it, which will happen at times, you've got to give 100% because you are at the audience, and it's kind of simple as that, I guess.
I think it's slightly different with the musicals as well, because it's literally like hit number 3, because they have numbers at the front of the stage for the dancers where
Yeah,
they know where they've got to hit. That this was all new to me.
yeah,
If you're in a play and you've just got a couple of lights, you can spar when you're out there, and you can sort of be more instinctive and throw new things at people, which can feel really exciting. And
yeah,
but with a musical, there's so many complicated lighting calls and technical things going on around you. It's more difficult to have that sort of freedom within it, isn't it?
yeah. Absolutely. You've got to, especially like I say with the numbers and everything. It is what it is. It's yeah. We're working with such talent, aren't we? I'm going to come to that. I
Yes,
mean, they blow my head.
I
So
know.
the ages of some of these people and what they can do. I think, like, we've got one lad, Theo. I mentioned Theo because I love him. I think he's ace. And he's 19 years old. When I was 19 years old, I was mucking out cows in a market in Cheshire. I've not even got anywhere near this business. And he's on stage doing all this stuff, and you're like, go, wow. And
Yeah.
they're just brilliant. And, and they've got all that discipline, and we have to have the discipline that they've got within that show. I mean, even the warm-ups we have to do. I think I said to you when we first got on, the most warm-ups you do when you're working on TV is a cup of tea and a slice of toast in the morning.
Yes.
You
And a
know,
chat
where,
outside.
well, we're doing all these exercises in the, which is good because I could do with losing a bit of the old belly. But it's just all it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
It's mind,
I mean,
but it's good.
I just touch the stage and say a little prayer and hope for the fucking best.
Yeah, you have to do and just enjoy it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great experience. Great experience.
Liam, what would your advice be to any young actors who are listening to this, who might not have an agent, who want to break into the industry or just starting out, people that have come back to it, later in life? What would you say to them?
Sure, it's if you love it and you adore it, and it's the only thing that makes you tick, just keep going and surround yourself with birds of a feather. People,
Yeah.
like-minded people. If you can create a small theatre company, if you can do little films, younger people who may be a bit more savvy than we are when it comes to YouTube films and podcasts and TikTok and all. Because like I keep thinking I should be making TikTok films, then I go and put the kettle on and don't bother. But there's so many things that I don't even understand that you can do. So younger generations, if you can do TikToks, go and do it. Girl who plays my daughter in Emmerdale, she's ace. She's like constantly doing stuff like that. She's right on it, and she's going down the storm on TikTok. I wouldn't know where to
Mm.
start. Also, at
Mm.
54 years old, I might look a sad old man. You know,
When
uh,
we get back to work next week, me and you are going to do a TikTok together.
let's do a TikTok. Yeah,
We're going to I'm going to find a TikTok for me and you to do together for the
all right.
people and pro to see.
It's a deal. We'll do that. Do that 100%. Yeah. But yeah, just
We,
keep the faith,
yeah.
And what is success? I don't know. if you can pay your bills, if you can have a life, and get on with it. There's so many people. I always think people in Hollywood who've reached what is supposedly the pinnacle, who lose their minds when they get to the top because they don't have any friends or they realise it didn't mean anything from day one anyway.
Yeah.
It's just a job and it's the people you work with. I think that's simple as that.
Well, I consider myself very lucky to be working with you. I can't wait to see you next week.
Ditto.
You are brilliant as Grandad in this show, and we've got a few more months of fun, Mr. Foxy.
We have Charlie Brooks. It's all good. Yes. Yeah, it's good, and you're smashing it as well in that show. It's just you're not there longer, But
I know.
Good. Brilliant.
Foxy, thank you for joining us today. You are a joy, and I'm sending you the biggest hugs. Thank you for being on
Back at you. Pleasure.
See you later.
Ciao for now.